How do you know someone? I mean, how do you determine the quality of someone's character? Well, Jesus makes this clear. He says you will know a tree by its fruit. Now, what he's trying to communicate here is you'll know someone by their actions. Not what they think, not what they believe, not where they live, not the color of their skin, not even their DNA. Jesus, in a very simple and profound way, says if you really want to know somebody, look at what they do. You see, at Jesus' first coming, all of Israel was confused as to the nature of God and the nature of the Messiah's coming. Many people saw God as a stoic judge, someone who was too holy to interact with. They also thought that the Messiah would be this warlord king, similar to King David. But when Jesus came, he flipped the script on that paradigm and taught them a different way. And how did he do that? Jesus showed God's goodness by giving the blind their sight, enabling the lame to walk, cleansing those who had leprosy, restoring hearing to the deaf, raising the dead back to life, and preaching the good news to the poor. Jesus confronted the lies about God by showing the goodness of God. And if this were not enough, Jesus, by the most selfless act possible, died on the cross for the sins of humanity, thereby ending for all eternity the debate regarding the quality of God's character. All throughout the Gospels, you see Jesus deconstructing false concepts of God and convincing Israel of the opposite. Jesus' ministry was to prove that God was a loving Father. The Sermon on the Mount is like a flag displaying a symbol that represents God. And what's this symbol the flag displays? Fruit. Yes, God uses fruit to illustrate character. So it's safe to say that if you want to know who God's children are, then all you have to do is look at how they act. Because children act like their father. As the old adage goes, an apple doesn't fall too far away from the tree. Jesus says in Matthew chapter 5, verse 43 through 48, "But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those that curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who despitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he makes his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and he sends rain on the just and on the unjust. Therefore you shall be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect." Over the course of the next year, we will be explaining the character of God and his children as explained by Jesus in the Beatitudes. If you grew up like me, you were confused as to what the Beatitudes were. You may have heard that Matthew was contrasting the greatness of Moses with the greatness of Jesus. And if that's the point, then it can be assumed that Jesus has given us a new set of laws. The point of the Beatitudes was to reveal the character of God to the called out people of God. Over the next year, we will explain why the family of God is called to reflect the character of God. And we will be unpacking how we can understand what attributes are prevalent in God's family. Our goal over the next year is to give you assurance that you can identify with God's family by looking in the mirror. I hope this year you grow closer to God than you ever have before. And I hope this teaching blesses you to live well and finish strong.